Hello, I'm Finola Burke from RaaS Research Group, and today we're catching up with Martin Filz, the Managing Director, and Melinda Sheppard, the Chief Financial Officer and Chief Operating Officer of data analytics business, Pureprofile, ASX ticker PPL. Welcome, Martin and Melinda.
Hi, Finola.
Hi, Finola.
Great to have you back. Martin, you've announced that you've entered into a transaction agreement with iLink Research Solutions. What does this mean, and what is it that attracted you to this business?
Yeah, so firstly, what attracted us to iLink? So similar to Pureprofile, it's a 20-year-old company in the Australian market, focusing just purely on the Australian market. It is a really strong brand in the Australian market, with a high reputation across clients and the industry for high-level quality. The owners and the people, we all know each other in the industry. It's a really similar culture also to Pureprofile, so a good fit from that perspective. A great team of 17 people, both onshore and offshore, and certain specialities that we aren't necessarily involved in, such as, for example, deeply in government work. So there were a number of reasons, but it's a really strong business, and also identified that there are great opportunities. It's like a mini version of Pureprofile, and fantastic opportunities. If we can relieve them of some of their capacity challenges, then they have a fantastic opportunity to grow further. So really pleased about that. And then for Pureprofile, again, cements our position as market leaders in the Australian market, brings great new talent to the business, a large audience that they have that augments our audience that we can also use for our clients. And so it's a win-win for both companies.
And Melinda, could you take us through some of the metrics of the iLink's business in terms of revenue and EBITDA, and the synergies that you expect from the acquisition over time?
Absolutely. So I just want to reiterate our guidance for FY24. So we are expecting revenue between 48 and 49 million. I can really confidently say that now. We're almost at the very end of the financial year. If we'd owned iLink this financial year, that would have added around about $2.7 to $2.8 million in revenue to our revenue guidance, which is fantastic. So that really is about a revenue multiple of the acquisition of about 0.5%. From an EBITDA perspective, just reiterating our guidance of 4.1 million to 4.5 million. And if we'd owned iLink through that period, that would have increased our EBITDA margin by about 0.5% on top of what we're expecting through this financial year. It's also a cash flow positive business, so that's fantastic. So that adds to our operating cash flow from a positive perspective. From synergies, so as we've mentioned in our initial release, the founders will be retiring from the business. So there'll be some savings due to the founders. They also obviously no premises costs. The team are currently located in Sydney CBD, so they'll move into our Sydney offices and other offices around in the locations they're in, so that'll be some further synergies. And one of the really important ones, we talk a lot about the fact that in our business, sometimes we have to go out and buy missing pieces of sample when we don't have that within our own panel. Obviously, in Australia, we have a really large panel, a really large network of audiences through our partners, such as Flybys and Shopback, etc. So there's some real opportunity for iLink to, when they have missing pieces of sample that they need to acquire, that they can then use our network. So those synergies, in the industry, we would call insourcing, and that allows iLink to improve the margin on the revenue that they generate as well. So we'd be looking to see that coming in when they join us on Monday.
Thank you, Mel. And Martin, I guess it'd be great to hear from you what difference you think iLink will be under Pureprofile as opposed to if it stayed with its current ownership structure.
Yeah, thanks, Finola. As Mel said, Mel talked about the EBITDA. At a top line, if we'd own them also in financial year 24, sorry, then we're looking at about an additional $2.7 million of revenue in addition to the margin expansion that Mel talked about. When you're a small company like that, I've made a couple of acquisitions before of similar panel companies when I worked at other organizations. And the real opportunity you see is businesses are often constrained by capacity. And that can be human capacity. So I haven't got enough people. My clients, I want to sell more work, or I'm able to sell more work, but I need more people to do it. And in our space, also having more audiences, more people that actually can do the surveys in this instance, or sharing data. And so with iLink as a smaller version of Pureprofile, two elements of capacity constraints they have are people. There's 17 people. We're over 200, 220 people around the world. So immediately they have access to our operations teams in India and the Philippines of over 100 people, that they're able to do more work. So they can go back to their client list of over 50 clients and actually be able to do more work because they have more capacity. In addition, they have approximately 20,000 panelists as an audience to do surveys. Once again, we have considerably larger audiences in Australia than that. So once again, we've removed that capacity of panelists. So they are able again to insource, as Mel talked about, rather than going to third parties where missing people, but again, be able to go back to clients and now in effect say they almost have access to unlimited resources in Australia in regards to panelists. So I've seen this where an organization has those constraints, can suddenly grow off of that base that they have. In addition, for Pureprofile, they've got a couple of things that we love. So they've got some really cool software, which they use for their scripting, client delivery. We don't have anything like that. It'll enable us to be faster and also more cost efficient, because we can use internal tools rather than external tools. As a particular vertical, they work more across government agencies. So that, again, as I talked about, that gives us an opportunity for new client verticals that we're expertise in. And then thirdly, their audience, interestingly, is slightly skewed to the older audience. Again, something that we're always looking for the Pureprofile clients. And so that gives us an ability to expand that work. So it really is both companies can leverage the strengths of each other, and it is a case of 1 + 1 = 3. In addition, our plans are to keep both brands, front-end brands in the market, differentiate those brands through some service offerings, and then behind the scenes, the operations, the panels, the systems will all be integrated into one simple workflow, where again, as Mel talked about, we see the synergies.
And Martin, the release noted that iLink has 50 clients. So is there any overlap with your existing client base?
Yeah, yes, that's a good question. So obviously, as market leaders in Australia, we work with most of the brands. Around about 25% to 50% of the brands that iLink actually works with, Pureprofile doesn't work with. And they work with iLink because iLink actually offers something different. Could be in the way that they service clients, could be again this software tool that they have skewed towards certain older demographics in audience. So we've got, as I said, a good percentage of clients we don't work with. In addition, we've got clients that we do both work to, but again, there's some certain types of work that lends itself really well to iLink, the way that the teams work and the audience they have, that means that will carry on with the major clients. And in actual fact, yesterday, I spoke to a good number of our significant clients, as did our teams, and across the board, we had really, really positive feedback. It's two strong brands coming together, high quality service, high quality delivery, and our clients, when we had joint clients and also separate clients, could all see the benefits of that. I also did a number of calls with all of our teams, their teams, being really excited about coming across Pureprofile and having access to all of those tools and those resources. And in turn, our team's really excited about us making that move to an investment in another organisation that gives us some nuances. And I spoke to some shareholders as well, and our significant shareholders, again, really positive about the fact that we're making acquisition out of cash reserves rather than any dilution. And the metrics, again, as Mel talked, make absolute sense in this deal. It's not dilutive at all. It's actually very positive across all of Pureprofile's metrics. So I've got a positive tick from all sides. And now we get to the work of integration and working together as of the 1st of July.
Mm-hmm. Mel, as I understand it, iLink had some international standards accreditation that Pureprofile is seeking to put in place. Does that provide benefit to you? I mean, does that come across to Pureprofile, and what has that brought in terms of customers?
Yeah, so Martin talked a little bit about the client mix and the fact that iLink do have a number of clients that they work with that we don't presently work with. A key part or key reason why they haven't been working with Pureprofile, in addition to obviously the way they work, is the fact that iLink has the ISO 27001 international IT standard accreditation. I'm very pleased to announce that we're very close to getting it for Pureprofile. We should have it finalised by the end of July. We've been working on that for about 6 to 9 months implementing that, and the reason that we were implementing it was to make sure that we could then pick up more clients. Obviously there's a keen interest with a lot of clients with that accreditation, predominantly off the back of the cybersecurity breaches. So we've done the implementation predominantly for commercial reasons, but also obviously it improves our own systems and processes, which is really important. So we do maintain the accreditation, so we're comfortable with that coming in. And you know, the way that they're working has been accredited, and the way that Pureprofile works from an operational process perspective and systems will be accredited as well. So it's kind of like, I suppose, joint benefit for both companies from that perspective. And they've had that accreditation for a couple of years as well. So they've got it really well bedded down, their processes from that perspective.
And Melinda, the release noted that iLink's live tribe panelists are highly engaged. I mean, why is that so, and does that complement your existing panel?
Yeah, absolutely. As Martin said, there's some key demographics that iLink have, particularly with older audiences that we don't have as much of. So that's fantastic. That allows Pureprofile clients to use the iLink panel as well. So a key part of the due diligence when we were looking at acquiring the business was we obviously wanted to know what the audiences were. So we did a lot of tests to make sure that the panelists were great quality. One of the things that we're really well known for, a couple of things that we're really well known for, is the quality of the research that we do. That's very, very important, and particularly for brands, obviously, to make sure that, you know, if they're making decisions, they're making it off really good quality data, and that we fulfill that research with speed. Speed's really important to clients, and that's what we're well known for. So we wanted to make sure that when we acquired iLink, that we conducted a few tests to make sure that what we're acquiring would complement us and would continue to provide those fast quality services for not only our clients but their clients. So we're really comfortable that we've acquired a really high quality audience with iLink.
And Martin, this is the first acquisition that Pureprofile's entered into under your leadership. Can we expect more acquisitions of this nature?
Again, a good question. I think, Finola, for us, we've demonstrated over the last 4 years that organically we've been operating cash flow for positive for the best part of 4 years. So within our means, we've been able to organically grow the business. And, you know, we've gone from 5 countries 4 years ago, we're now in 13 countries. We've gone from about 600 clients to over 850 clients. and revenues, as Mel talked about, guidance from around about $20 million to over $48 million in that short space of time, and all organically. We've been very conscious that you need to be careful about acquisitions, careful with shareholders' money, because ultimately that is what you're using, and it really needs to be additive for us as a business. So we'll continue. Opportunities often come across my desk and Mel's desk, and we'll continue to look at those. But we sort of sit within the key criteria, which is, number one, it can't be diluted to the metrics of Pureprofile. And that's looking at our market cap versus our revenue, EBITDA, and as we announced at the end of half one, now NPAT positivity for that half. So we need to ensure that any acquisition isn't diluted to that, number one. Number two, it is actually clear on strategy and clear on that it is a direction we're heading on. It's within our business, with it, so that makes it easy to integrate, easy to move forward, easy, as Mel talked about, carry out due diligence, etc. And then, does it accelerate anything that we're going to do? Can we actually see that, as with iLink bringing on a company that's talked about $2.7 million of revenue, identify synergies, and actually is that going to accelerate where we were planning to be in financial year 25? So as long as it meets those three strict criteria that we have, then that's absolutely something that we look at and makes sense. And again, we do that with consultation, obviously internally with our teams, and then with shareholders also, understanding if that fits within, again, the metrics and the thought for the direction of the company. So lots of criteria, but yes, opportunities come across our desk.
Well, thank you, Martin and Melinda, for your time today. I'm looking forward to catching up with you both on Pureprofile's progress in FY25.